Hey, okay, we're back. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stock Markets with Bruce. It's your buddy here, Uncle Bruce. We're now at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. We have an hour to go in the day today for Monday, December the 6th. The markets have been up all day. We had a plus 700 plus point gain on the Dow at the high. At the moment, we're up 645, pretty darn good. It's been plus five, 600 now for several hours, plus 500 for, oh gosh, till about, since about 11 this morning Eastern time. So it's been a very solid holding the whole gain all day. We're up 58 on S&P, and NASDAQ is definitely showing a better move now with a 147 point up move. The NASDAQ is up 0.98, let's call it a percentage point, and S&P is up 1.25%. The Dow's up 1.8%. Now, all day long, the Dow had been the leader percentage point wise, then a little bit behind that S&P, but NASDAQ was negative or barely ahead, up a quarter of a percentage point. That was it. We're now up almost a full percentage point on NASDAQ. So it is joining the party. Welcome to the party, pal. The NASDAQ market has decided to join the Grubers in the Nakatomi Tower, and welcome to the party. So there you go. We'll see how this holds in the last hour and how the market works it. Now, the oil market, it's showing a gain of $3.52 a barrel today at 69.78. There's a lot of speculation going on about, is OPEC going to limit production? Are they going to cut back? What about Russia? What about Russia and OPEC together? Are they going to figure out something and whatever? The price of oil has also really dropped in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, backed off from the 90s down to the low 60s. So at 69.79, there's a partial correction here. Is this the beginning of a run again? We don't know. We have heard that they're calling for a colder than usual winter in certain areas, and as we speak right now, the middle of the U.S., Midwest U.S., a Great Lakes area is colder than normal, or nice and cool. So the speculators are hoping that it's going to get cold and everyone's going to need oil and gas all of a sudden, and there's going to be a shortage. I don't buy it. I just can't buy that. Don't believe it. But you can't deny it's higher today. So there you have it. We're a little higher on the oil market. Other than that, let's take a look at some of our favorite stocks here. Our friends at Rocket Lab, they're just, they really been having a pattern kind of lately. They sort of have a good morning and then a lousy afternoon. Don't know if you've been noticing this lately, but this morning on the opening, they were at 12.97. They got up to 13.11 just around 10:30 this morning, about an hour into the market, then gave it all back. Right now, the market on Rocket Lab, the last trade, 12.42, down 58 cents on a volume of 4.6 million. And we're talking about like all kinds of stuff coming up here, like new launches being conducted, new rocket designs, recovery of old rockets. I mean, it's just good news after good news after good news. Doesn't seem to matter. The stock is just backing off. We, in the last 6 months or so, I mean, back in August, we were sitting here at $10 a share, and we'd get up to 11 and back to 10, and nothing happened. And then all kinds of stuff took off. We popped up September the 9th to $20.72 in just a real hurry. Unfortunately, we gave a lot of it back. The stock was at 16 bucks September the 16th. Then it was around 14.50 October the 5th. Then it got down to 12.40 October 18, came back up to it looks like 15.74 on November 4. It even reached 16.28 on November 17. It looked like it was going back to 20 bucks again, but no. Now we're at 12.42. So the stock has not yet been able to establish a foothold in any one region yet. The stock's very choppy, and it trades between roughly 12 and 15, 16 bucks a lot of the time, and we're waiting for that breakout past 16 to go, and it hasn't happened. Over on Sofi, I think it will, though, by the way. I think Rocket Lab will break 20 and will make a lot of you a lot of money. I really believe it. But at the moment, it's playing hard to please. I mean, it's really giving us a tough time. and we've got to sit here and take it. We've just got to, kind of wait this thing out. SoFi has had an interesting day. It opened up at 1506, promptly dropped to 1450. Like right now, it went to 1450 on 2+ million opening volume. Boom, we were down. And then a funny thing happened on the way to the bank. Where it started to come up, and by about 1040, 1546 a share, almost a dollar higher than where it was an hour earlier. It's been now since 10:30 this morning to now. It's been that low and as high as 1584, and we're trading at 1547 on SoFi. So we've been kind of holding this 1550, 1540, 1560, 70 range now all day long. And those of you who were here this morning, you heard me talk about some speculation that is circulating about oot and about, as we Canadians like to say. There's some circulation oot and about all about perhaps that SoFi possibly might put a deal together or is negotiating now privately, quietly, to acquire Apex Clearing. Now, Apex Clearing is already owned. SoFi already owns 17% of this thing, 16.8. 16.8% is held already by SoFi. Now, Apex Clearing was supposed to go public, and it was supposed to go public through a SPAC. The deal fell through. The SEC got in the middle of all kinds of SPAC problems, and all kinds of SPACs have been just canceled left, right, and center. People ask me all the time, Bruce, when are you going to start recommending new SPACs? We want new stocks to follow, and hot SPACs that are going to make us rich overnight. Can't find any because the SEC is getting in the middle of everything, and SPACs are just right now, if they haven't happened yet, and they haven't done their mergers and everything else like SoFi's done, there's no way to predict when SPACs will be back in fashion. Thankfully, SoFi, Rocket Lab, Matterport, and many others have done their deals, and they're no longer SPACs. Now they are actually publicly traded companies. So the thinking now is, well, if Apex can't go public on its own, maybe Apex will be acquired by SoFi, which is publicly traded. Or how about this one? Do you think that it's possible that Apex would be acquired by someone else that's publicly traded? Another completely different company? That would get interesting, wouldn't it? Because if the deal came through at $1.5 billion is what they're talking about to buy this Apex thing, someone else were to buy it, and they're offering cash and prizes, cash and stock, SoFi would get cash and stock too, because they own 16.8% of Apex. Haven't thought of that. And, if the street likes the term of the deal and they like the marriage of the two companies, the stock that does the buying of Apex could have a little rally on its hands, which would move SoFi's book value higher. And maybe SoFi shares will go up because of this. Interesting. My wonderings though are, what if SoFi buys this thing? SoFi buys Apex, okay, and they fold it in as a wholly owned subsidiary company, another division that they run. We were led to believe, at least the street was led to believe, the market, months ago, when Apex was supposed to go public via a SPAC, that by the time that deal got done and funded, it was a $4.5 billion entity. And I've been trying to figure out this $4.5 billion deal, because the word I'm getting is that they can be acquired for about 1.5, 1.6 billion right now in a cash stock arrangement. And I'm going, well, look, if you're the management of Apex, why don't you go back to the drawing board and try to find another way to go public, and then ultimately get your $4.5 million value, figured out. And then it hit me, and I thought, I get it now, because look, if SoFi coughs up 500 million in cash and $1 billion in stock, my thinking is that the 500 million in cash will likely be used to pay the income tax required for all the investors that bought into Apex when it was created to now, because Apex wasn't created for $1.5 billion. It was created for much less than that. It might have been created for 100 million or 150 million. it's possible that the owners of Apex are theoretically would sell their company at 1.5, 1.6 billion for 10 times what they paid for it. Hence, a tax bill. To pay the tax bill, the government of the United States doesn't want stock. They want cash. Well, 500 million in cash, billion in stock. You use a bunch of that cash to pay tax bills, and you've got your 1 billion in stock bought and paid for, tax prepaid, all covered. And now we go from here. Then I thought, okay, so if they did that deal and they vend the company into SoFi, that isn't the end of the deal, though, because going public via a SPAC, the deal was going to be that Apex would do a takeover of the SPAC, paper for paper. In other words, Apex paper would be issued to SPAC shareholders for their paper, and then everyone would own Apex paper inside the listing of the SPAC. And the money that's in the trust company, in the lawyer's trust account, whether it's 300, 400 million, whatever it was, would then transfer to Apex, plus any pipe financing money, just like SoFi, would then go to Apex too. And that's where we had Apex being funded with a bunch of dough. Apex has got to be looking at this going, guys, it's nice that you want to take us over, but you know what? We need dough. We want to grow this company. That's why we were going to go public. We being greedy capitalists would like to own stock of a publicly traded company, yes, but we wanted to have a public company funded with a bunch of money. We don't want to be taken over by you guys without any dough to expand the business. Oh, and by the way, we'd kind of like to still work for the company. So SoFi is probably saying that's a good thing. We'd like you to keep working for the company because we don't know how to run your company. We're going to buy your company, but you guys run it. You're now, part of our SoFi family here. We're all shareholders of SoFi, and we'll all get richer together. But what we can do at SoFi, that now that we're public, you may have noticed we have this little ability to raise money pretty quickly and rather easily at very good terms. And those of you who have been watching me for a couple of months, you know that SoFi a few months ago raised $1.1 billion for zero interest, offering stock to be converted down the road 5 to 7 years at like $32, $35 a share. So SoFi can raise billions of dollars by issuing theoretically stock in itself at double or higher prices than it trades at. That's a no-brainer for these guys. So if they wanted to fund the Apex entity with $1 billion of cash or $1.5 billion of dollars that they can now work with to become a bigger, more powerful clearinghouse scenario, SoFi can easily get the dough. And that got me thinking that, yeah, I guess, they issue paper and money worth 1.5 or so billion, and then they raise another 1 to 1.5 billion in dollars to fund this. I can see that this entity would be worth $4.5 billion, and I can see the street thinking the same thing. And I can see stock brokerage firms and analysts in New York going, hey, we got to add $4.5 billion of value to SoFi's value if they pull this thing off. The other thing to think about, though, is the guys at SoFi know this. The guys at Apex know this. I think I know it. Now I think you know it. It could be that the deal to take over Apex won't be done at 15.73 a share, because that's where SoFi is right now as I speak to you, 15.73 a share. It could be that this is a $20 deal or a $25 deal. Would it be possible that the deal is maybe 400 million in cash and 1.1 billion in stock, but the stock's issued at 25 a share, not at 15 a share? That's fewer shares. Keep in mind also that whoever gets this stock would be, of course, the majority owners of Apex, one of which is SoFi, by the way. They're paying themselves. But everyone who gets stock in this thing, who's a senior officer, that's all restricted stock. That stock, you can't just go and sell it now. So we don't have to worry. If you're a shareholder of SoFi, you don't have to worry about, oh gosh, they're going to buy this Apex, and then a week later they're going to flood the market with all this paper and it's going to go down to $12 a share. No, that's not going to happen. Because if they get it issued at 20 or 25 a share, and then they have restrictions for 1 to 2 years before they can actually sell it, and they would probably prenup, they'll pre-sign a deal with these guys, that says we're happy to tie it up for 2 years. We want day jobs. We want to keep our day jobs. So we're going to sign 5-year contracts to not leave the firm. We'll have 5-year unless we, are fireable for something fireable. Fair enough. But we're not going to be fired doing our jobs. And we'll sign up to 5-year holds. We'll get maybe a 10% release after 1 year of our stock and a 15% after 2 years, and then the rest over the next 3 years on a staggered basis. By then, do you care? Do you actually care if these guys can sell their stock 4 years from now when it's 150 a share? I mean, do you really care? You're going to be so rich and living such a lavish lifestyle, you won't even remember this deal because that was 10 deals ago. In any event, I have a suspicion that New York could well be sitting there going, "Hey, this is okay. This is great. Yeah, go ahead." They couldn't do the SPAC. We get it. The SEC's is in a hissy fit with SPACs. Fair enough. We'll back you guys on this arrangement. Yeah, why don't you take them over, vend them in as a wholly owned subsidiary? We'll help you fund it with some real cheap money because we got tons of cheap money looking for a place to go. And bingo, bango, bongo, you get your bank charter on top of that, and woohoo, we got a $50, $60 stock, $70 stock. We're on our way. That could be what's happening on SoFi today. Again, I'm just plain Englishing to you as best I can. What I'm seeing here, what I'm hearing here, and then I'm kind of speculating, going speculating, as Tom Hanks liked to say, speculating. Kind of wondering, yeah, I could see this. This could be the way to do it. This could be a way to make it work. There could be a lot of logistical, things to work out, and SEC stuff and regulation stuff. Yeah. That's what lawyers are for. That's what auditors are for. That's what I'm not one of those guys. I'm a deal maker. Well, I'll let those guys figure out the details. But this is what we want to do. When it's all said and done, SoFi is trading at $100 a share, and part of the company is Apex Clearing, along with everything else we got going. Okay, simple. Okay, now figure it out. Make it happen. I'll keep you posted. We'll see what's going on. Maybe there's something to this. 1577 right now is the market. It popped up like 20 cents while I was doing this rant. Of course, everyone on Wall Street listens to me when I start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They all tune in. They go, "What is the old man talking about now?" And they're going, "Oh, wow, this makes a lot of sense. This old man is talking about SoFi going to $100 a share with this merger of Apex. I'll buy this stock from 1550 up to 1577 a share." And there you go. You're welcome. You're all welcome. It was nothing really. It was it's all good. I know there's only 434 people watching right now, but you're all calling 10 people each. So really, there's 4,300 people following the story instantly. Most of these are S&P 500 CEOs and all kinds of speculators around the world, and every hedge fund manager there is. They all watch this show. Now they know the story on SoFi. Bingo, like you do. Very good. GameStop 169.91, down 248 a share. We're not going anywhere today. Matterport 2302. How much lower does Matterport have to go to flush out all this trading that we had in the last month or so? I mean, what a run we've had. I mean, look at this. This is 3 months of your Matterport right here. It's 3 months ago. September, October, November. Look at that. December. And now here we are coming back all the way back. I don't know. It used to be a lot easier. This is your 6-month chart. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? The 6-month chart, doesn't that look great? Look at how low it was for so long. And then boom, it took off. We're not done yet, but today we're not getting any healthier. We're at 22.96 down 255. Is it too low for me, for my personal tastes? Yeah, I think so. But can I do anything about it? Not really. I can just tell you about it. I can tell you it hit 22.57 about 10 minutes ago on a dip. And those of you who've got stink bids on options, you might have been hit in the last 15 minutes. Check it out. Those of you who didn't put in stink bids, shame on you. I keep telling you to do so. Anyway, 22.98 down 253 on 9.9 million volume. We'll have to see what happens later today and tomorrow. Maybe that was the last of it. Maybe that was the last of the blowout that backed this thing off. There was a final sell-off of whatever was left over, and now it's cleaned out. And now Matterport will go to 25 today, like as if nothing happened. What about that? We'll see. We got 41 minutes. Anything can happen in 41 minutes. Okay, 23andMe 784, up 19 cents. High of the day, 796. I'd like to see it break 8, go through 8, never come back here again. 2.2 million volume today. That's all I got for you there. Spire was on fire. Spire right now, 433 and a half, down 5.5 cents after topping out right around, looks like around 1 o'clock today. It topped out at 456. It hit 410 this morning. By 10 o'clock this morning, 410 a share, new low, all-time low. And it went up to 456 in like 2.5 hours after that. Great. It was up on the day. Everything was happening. The birds were singing. We're going to get the campfire going. We're going to sing Kumbaya tonight. Everything was going to be fabulous. And then Spire, 1.1 million volume on the day. We're now down 5.8 cents to 433. Go figure. So that's where we're at on the Spire. Kind of weird. 5 cent loss. I mean, I can handle that. It's okay, but I kind of like to get this going. ATIP, 322 last trade, 322 and a half cents, down 9.5 cents. Volume today, 1.2 million. That's actually some volume on ATIP, but no serious buying coming in. Although I will tell you, at just after noon today, it hit the low of 314, and then it's been steadily coming on since. So it's 322. Not getting excited here. I'd like to see 9-10 cent gains every day. Call me greedy, but that's the way I am. Smart Rent up 51 cents. We are flatlining up here. We're holding this level of 10.33 a share here. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, look at how solid this thing. Look at that. Just draw my finger across there. Look at that. That's been since 10 o'clock this morning. Just been sitting. Just in the last 15 minutes, we had a little break. I see a little nipple up there. There we go. A little. We're at 10.34, up 52. 799,000 shares volume. But you know how Smart Rent does this all the time. They'll go down 50 cents in one day. They'll go up 60 cents in one day. They go down, and then they'll just stay there. It's very interesting stock, but sometimes very kind of weird. Cyxtera down 1 penny on the day. We have traded 28-cent range from 982 low to 1010 high. It's at 1009 right now. It's right near its high of the day. 130,000 volume on Cyxtera with no news. And you can see there is no news because there's no volume. Okay, AMC up 47 cents. Robinhood at 21.94, up 39 cents. Vanek Vectors down 8 cents. Nothing going on there today. But then again, they've had such a run lately. This morning they were at 290 a share. The Vanek Vector. It's now 301. It's gone up $11 to be down 12 cents on the day. Like, wow, look at that. Like, there's your opening. Zip, there's the low, and then all the way back, and we're down 8 cents. So, at the end of the day, someone will call up, say, how did my Vanek do today? And the broker says, it was down 8 cents. Oh, it's kind of boring, huh? Actually, no, it wasn't boring. It was terrifying. We were down $11 this morning, and it came all the way back, but it was down 8 cents. So, Robinhood up, not Robinhood, Home Depot, Home Depot up 787 to 415. IBM up $1.36 to $120. Dow Jones up 670 points, mostly 700-point day today, most of the time. Microsoft up 311. We started down today on Microsoft. We were down to 319 this morning. It's now 326, $7 better, a $3 gain from a $4 loss. Apple still up 361, touched today 167.88. The all-time high was Friday at 170. Interesting. So tried to get up there again. We're still up 361 on the day. Tesla down only $5.70 today. Tesla's at 1,009 right now. This morning, right off the opening, we were at 950. So $59 turnaround from this morning's opening low to where we are now, pushing the high of the day here. Interesting. Bed Bath & Beyond up 91 cents to $18.77. BlackBerry up 12 to $9.06. Royal Caribbean up $6.06 today to $72.82. Topped out at $74.42. It actually had almost a couple of extra dollars here. This won't last, but it's a dead cat bounce of some kind, and there you have it. Royal Caribbean, a little higher. Norwegian, Carnival, they're joining the party today. Goldman up 683 to 389.56. Topped out today at 393. Very good. So writing 395s, writing 400s, those kind of contracts. If you're going to be a poor man covered call option writer on Goldman for this Friday or next Friday, you might want to look at 400s. This Friday's maybe 395s, 397s, 98s, something like that. That might be, it might be your target. Have to keep an eye on that though. Gotta watch it. Amazon up $44, Facebook up $12, Google up $29.96, almost $30. Cisco Systems up 66 cents to 56.89. Looks like it wants to get to 58 to 60 again. And that's what's kind of happening on the big markets here. 648 is the gain on the Dow, 56, 57 points now on S&P, 159, 158 and a half, 159 on NASDAQ, and oil is up 342 a barrel. There you go. Barron's headline, list of concerns over China's stocks is getting longer. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. There's problems over there. Serious problem. Now it's official. The United States of America has officially announced bold new initiatives to put an economic, not an economic, to put on a diplomatic boycott of the Olympics. That's the big fat nothing burger coming out of Washington today. It's so disappointing that the politicians aren't going to the Olympics. Well, that means it's nothing. What about the athletes? They're the ones who are going there, putting their blood and guts on the line, training their butts off for years, and these politicians are going, "Oh, well, due to human rights, we're not going to go." Oh, great! What a wonderful sacrifice you guys are making, not staying in five-star hotels and getting limo service between the events while your athletes sweat it out for you to put on a show on your television network. Man, oh man, I have no respect for this move at all. Can you tell? Is it obvious? It's just a nothing burger. It is such a pathetic. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of a show. It's just a show, and it is sad. I gotta bet you. I will bet you that some smarty pants, little old university graduate, college graduate, hired by one of the administration staff, came up with this little cutesy tootsy little boycott idea. Like I can see the round table. They have the round table going on, and they're going, we gotta find a way to come off tough. How can we come up with a way to show the world that we really are not happy with the way China's doing things, but at the same time, is there a way we can still send the athletes over there, and is there a way that the TV networks for the American TV net can still make a piss pot of money, and we'll let all the advertisers advertise, but we'll take the high road. We'll take the high road about, and is there another? There's one more thing I want to ask you. Is it obvious to you that I didn't shave the last couple of days? Does it look obvious to you? Those of you in the 75-inch television screens, what do you think? Anyway, the tough diplomats. Those hard-working diplomats are stepping up for you and me and showing China who's boss. Yeah, you're not going to put me in a five-star hotel and give me limo service wherever I want to go. You're not going to give me chocolates on my pillow every night. No. We're tough guys. I got to tell you, folks, I I have an unfair advantage in some cases, or some of you folks, because I was in Calgary in 1988 when the Winter Olympics came to town. And this was the last year that the Olympics were held, where the Soviet Union showed up, and East Germany showed up, and Bulgaria showed up, and all these countries showed up. And then in 1992, 4 years later, or by 92, the whole breakup had happened with the Soviet Union and all that crap, right? So just going back to Calgary, I got to tell you, I had some friends of mine who were volunteers during the Olympics in 1988. They were volunteering for years before the games started, and then they were volunteers during the games themselves. And I got to tell you, oh man, stories. Oh, what you guys see on television and what we get, in Canada, we get the CBC or CTV network covering it. And then here down in the States, I think for the Calgary Olympics, it was ABC with Jim McKay was the host. I like Jim McKay. I always liked Jim McKay. I don't know about you. Always liked Jim McKay. He was all right. Wild World of Sports and all that. Anyways, ABC was covering the Olympics for the Americans. And the West German TV networks were there for West Germany, and France was there. Italy television was there. UK television was there. I mean, big deal. It's a big deal. Olympics, Winter Olympics in a really nice town called Calgary, Alberta. But I gotta tell you, man, the bribes that were paid to these IOC guys, uh, it would blow your minds. First, there were the bribes to get them to vote for you in the first place, to so that you could be like a finalist, like one of the last four cities to be considered. Then you had the bribes you had to pay these morons to be considered as the lead city. Then you had the payoffs on top of that because all these IOC delegates would come to your city and country, and they'd be in the best posh hotels that Calgary had. I mean, there were no rooms at the top hotels in downtown Calgary for just average tourists. They were all paid for by the International Olympic Committee or through the Calgary Olympic Committee. And then the gift bags that were left in the rooms for these people again and again and again and again. And then all the swank they got, as if they were like rock stars, these people. And all they had was a delegate vote, just a delegate vote at the IOC to approve your city for the Olympics. And then we had coming through town, all these dignitaries. And this is what this diplomatic thing's all about. All the dignitaries that were coming in. And of course, they got the royal treatment, of course, because first of all, you had the RCMP providing security for these guys, including plainclothes. Then you had, all the roadways blocked off for these limos to go around and stuff. And they were all inside the venues, in these club boxes and club suites. And, the public, and I'm one, Jennifer and I were buying tickets to the hockey games, and we bought 2 tickets to every game that was offered. We were lucky enough to get them all. And, we're sitting in our seats, theater, hockey seats, right? They're not that cushy. But you're looking around and you see up here all these high-end falutin people, and none of them are paying for any of it. It's all being given to them, we're paying for it. I mean, Canadian taxpayers paid, the television people paid it, the commercials you watched paid for. This is a party for the well-to-do like you cannot believe. And in China right now, this Winter Olympic thing, they are going to try to use this as a legitimization of their, existence, and to show the world what a wonderful place they have there and how happy 1.3 billion people are being run by these communist morons in Beijing and being, told what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and everything else. It is so pathetic. And being as old as I am, old and decrepit as I am, remembering the old days with the Soviet Union and all the propaganda crap that used to come out of there all the time. It was unbelievable. How I, as a young man, would just put my eyes up to the sky whenever I heard these TASS news agency people report on how great it is in Moscow and what a wonderful quality of life people have in the Soviet Union and all the countries around Soviet Union, and how people just love living there and what a great education system they have. And I mean, I'm just going, give me a break. You guys, I mean, you guys have horses pulling freaking wagons down the streets of most of your towns. Are you kidding me? It was ridiculous. China's doing the same thing. China's just trying to pull off the same PR bullshit. That's all this is. To all of us that the Russians were trying to do, the Soviets were trying to do all through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, even in right up to 89, like right up to 89, the gunk kept coming out of there. And this is what this is going to be. It's going to be a crap show, a pure gunk show coming up. And I am still shocked. Maybe shocked. No, maybe that's not the right word. I am just so disappointed that even now countries haven't pulled out. That no one's pulling out. I think Lithuania pulled out. It's the one country, Lithuania, that may have pulled out, and it's probably because they can't afford it. But I'll tell you this: a little ditty for you guys. Back in the Calgary Olympics, part of the deal for the Calgary Olympic Committee to get the Winter Games was the Olympic Committee of Calgary had to pay the dollars to get the teams to come over. That's part of the gig. So all these little hick little countries, with 2 million people, 5 million people, who wanted to send some bobsledders over or some ski, whatever kind of cross country skiing type people, names we'd never heard of in sports we don't want. We would have to bring over not only the 5 athletes, but the 15 people with those 5 athletes. Oh yes, the 15. Yeah, you know who they were. The IOC hangers on, and it would had to all be paid for by the Olympic Committee. And we were talking about, I don't know how many, 11, 12,000 athletes had to come to Calgary, 16,000. I can't remember the number. It was a ridiculous number. All the countries. It was a party. The money was there. I mean, Calgary actually made money on the Olympics because ABC paid, at that time, a record $290 million for the rights to broadcast the Calgary Winter Olympic Games. Prior to that, ABC had maybe paid $100 million for Olympics, Winter Olympics. Summer Olympics are bigger. But winter has always been the second cousin. But ABC Television out of New York, they knew we got to buy these Calgary Winter Games. We got to get the games out of Calgary because they will broadcast the USA hockey team against the Russian hockey team or the Canadian hockey team at 8:00 Eastern time. They will perfectly time the women's finals for figure skating at 8:00 every night. Men's figure skating, doubles figure skating, the high-end sports that American women like to watch more than men. Guys watch hockey, but that's about all we watch. The women watch the figure skating and want to see how pretty the costumes are. This is prime time, baby, and they paid dearly for the rights, and they made money. ABC made money. Calgary made money, and all the IOCs got the bribes and all the goodies. And what did the Calgary citizens get? Oh, we got some facilities, which we're still paying to keep up. Some of them now need major millions of dollars to brush up again, and we're broke. We don't have the dough right now because oil isn't doing so well, or hadn't been doing so well. But it was good. Calgary was put on the map. It was fine for the city. It was put on the map. But I have to tell you that the payoffs to put this on was just ridiculous. Anyway, so that's what's happening in Beijing coming up, okay, on steroids. And you're going to, I'm just going to shake my head and throw my eyes up in the air and go, you got to be kidding me. I'm begging Canadians, A, not to watch it, B, the Canadian team to boycott, the hockey players to say, I'm not going. No, this is crap. I'm not going. I'm begging athletes with any kind of economic power to say, screw this, I'm not going. Because that female tennis player is missing. That we can't find her. No one can talk to her. No one can call her. She can't tweet. She can't email. She can't. Yeah. I think we teach those guys a lesson. It's a $5 billion lesson, but let's teach them a lesson. They can afford it. It's okay. They got all kinds of money. The greatest country in the world, China, they got all kinds of money. Unbelievable. Anyway, there you go. It's just your old man, Uncle Bruce, ranting and raving. What am I going to do? Where are we at? We're trying to come into the close here with a 640-point gain on the Dow. We got 20 minutes to go. We're up 53 on the S&P. We're up 141 on NASDAQ. Rocket Lab, 1242, down 58 cents. SoFi, 1572, up 54 cents. GameStop down 317 to 169.22. Matterport down 217 now to 23.34. The low was 22.57, right around 3 o'clock Eastern, just when I started. There was a dip, there was a zit, and it's come back, but only to 23.34 on 10.6 million volume on Matterport. ME up 17 cents to 782. Spire down 14 cents, giving it up, just falling off the table, down to 425.5. down 13.5 cents on Spire. Over on ATIP, down a dime. Smart Rent up 34 cents, and Sixtera down 1 penny. No change, nothing going on. That's what's going on here. Not a lot to tell you about. Those of you who are trying to buy back call options, the clock is working in your favor. You've written calls on some of these stocks. The time is just passing by, and the shares aren't doing a heck of a lot. Some are lower today, and so the contracts are dropping, and time is making them drop even more. And that is the beauty of writing options and being an option writer all the time, because you're always an option writer and you're always looking for depreciation to make you money. So there you have it. Keep your eye on some of these stocks. You might want to write $25 Matterports. It could be you might want to write 25s. It's a 23.34. On the other hand, you might want to write SoFi 18s or 20s for this Friday or next. I don't know if you get any premiums, though. There might not be enough premiums to make it worth your while. As far as the other stocks go, obviously you can write contracts on the IBMs of the world. It's 120 a share right now. You could look at Microsoft, Apple. You can look at Goldman Sachs, Royal Caribbean. You can just buy puts on Royal Caribbean. Don't buy the stock and write options on Royal Caribbean. Don't do that. No, Goldman, buy poor man covered calls and write options against them. Apple and Microsoft, you can buy poor man covered calls. You can buy call contracts that are deep in the money and then write calls against them. You can do that. Check out my lessons for that, how to do it properly. There's some potential there for you guys. Yes, there it is. That's what we're talking about. Okay. What is going here? Afternoon rant. I love it, says Kareem. Yeah, I agree. The NHL boycott this thing. Don't even bother going. But the problem here, it's all about money, kids. Why are some of America's largest corporations gleefully sponsoring the Olympic Games? Not because they're nice guys. That's not it. They're nice people, probably. I'm sure the people at various corporations in the United States are very nice people, but they're there to make a living, and they're trying to make a buck, and they're trying to score the sentimental what's the sentimentality. They're trying to pull at your heartstrings as Americans and Canadians. They're trying to get us to get all teary-eyed over how hard these athletes work, and we want to support them. And wouldn't it be great if they could bring home a medal for America or for Canada? Like, whoop-de-freaking-do. These athletes are dirt poor before the games, and within a year the games are over, they're dirt poor again, because 99% of the athletes of the Olympics don't get paid any serious money to do what they do. Yeah, the tennis players make money and the golfers make money and all that, but they participate for themselves, for their own bottom line. They also, by the way, fly in on their own private jets. They stay in their own accommodations, and then they leave town. They're not there for the team spirit. Okay, the weightlifters, yeah, they're in the Olympic Village, and the volleyball players, yeah, they're in the Olympic Village, and the bobsled teams, they're in the Olympic Village. Yeah, sure. But they're broke. They have no money, and they're not going to make any money on this. Some of these guys make more money selling souvenirs when they get home from the games than they do being, to do everything with the games. Because Canada gives athletes a monthly stipend to get by, and it's like unemployment. It's a pathetic amount of money. Nothing. So, yeah, there you go. Not a lot to get excited about. So, the sponsors, Coca-Cola and whoever else is sponsoring the Olympics. I don't know if even Coca-Cola is sponsoring the Olympics. As a matter of fact, I can't tell you who the sponsors are for the Winter Olympics. I don't know who they are. It's totally lost out of my mind. I haven't got a clue. I can tell you who used to sponsor the Olympics over the years, but I don't know who's sponsoring the Winter Olympics in Beijing this year coming up. And like I say, I'm wondering why bother even going. I know that in Canada we just had the Olympic elimination rounds for the curling teams in Canada. Big deal amongst curlers to go. They want to go, but they want to go and just curl. They don't want to have anything to do with the political side of the show. Unfortunately, it's all one big wrapped up package, and the amount of money that the networks have dished out already to set up everything, and the rights that they've paid for and everything, you don't get refunds if your teams don't go. So, Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line, and that's why this is likely going to happen. And it's pathetic that the diplomats not going. Oh, what a wonderful gesture on their part. I'm not impressed. I mean, have you noticed that? I'm not really all impressed. Anyway, yeah, I can't. What can I say? All right. Yeah, look at that. I haven't heard anything about the Winter Olympics. Laugh out loud. Advertising can't be as much as it used to be. There you go. Of course, we also have 25 million channels to watch now. Used to be we had 4 or 5 channels, and you couldn't miss the advertising, of course, for the Olympics. There you go. Eddie the Eagle was in the Olympic Village. Yes, he was. He sure was. Oh, yeah. Anyway, what can I say? Let's see. Yeah. Here, coming from a former college football player, anyone that devotes a huge portion of their time, energy, money to being a sports fan, biggest saps on the planet. You know what gets me? Another little rant idea, that little topic that gets me going from time to time is I notice these contracts being offered and signed up by these football coaches in the United States for universities. These university football coaches. 10 million a year, 4 year, 10 million a year contracts. I thought the universities were there for the students to learn how to get a job, like a trade, to advance their careers. I don't understand how this works. I understand it that some of the universities say, hey, look, the football program makes a lot of money for the university. We make, yeah, that's right, because you're charging an arm and a leg for a bloody ticket to go to the damn game. I mean, this isn't an education at all, and this has been the problem. Of course, we've been talking about, you and I have talked about this a million times. You've talked about it at home a million times. The basketball students, the football students, the others, they're making millions for their colleges, getting nothing for themselves, and it's an absolute joke. They're all basically, all it is. It's minor leagues for the professional teams, and the professional teams pay nothing for any of it. And then you and I get to watch these professional athletes on television on the NFL. And how many bloody commercials are you getting on your NFL telecast? Gotta tell you, I went to Jennifer and I went to a sports bar here yesterday to catch their Steelers to play, have our Steelers play football, and the bar could hold about 200 people, and they had about 40 televisions all over the place. And when we got there, the hostess says, "Oh, what game are you here to watch?" I thought that was pretty good. So Jennifer says, "We're here to watch my Steelers." As, oh, okay, come on with me. So we got sat down near a TV that was watching, displaying the Steeler game. Didn't get any sound because there's no sound being played on any television anywhere in the entire sports bar, because you got 40 games, 15 games going on at the same time. But there were clusters of people watching this game and this game and that game and this game and that game and this game and that. And I tell you, I'd look around the bar during commercial breaks, just, because I didn't want to watch the same commercial all the time. So you're just kind of looking around, and I would then look at the other TVs and see what's on their TV, and I could see like 18 other screens all over the place, and I'd only see 2 or 3 with a football game going on. The rest of them all had commercials. I just thought, we're such saps. It's unbelievable. We are such saps watching NFL football and all the other sports that are out there. It is nothing but a complete pushing of product down our throats. These athletes are standing around getting cold. I mean, they're just seizing up muscles, waiting for these damn commercials to get done so they can start playing their game again. It is such a sad, pathetic thing. And the money is out of proportion with all reality. But this is what old men talk about. So I hate to bore you, but there it is. It is really pathetic. I was happy to see, though, that the sports bar was relatively full and everyone was having a fairly good time. People are enjoying the ability to see their favorite team and what have you. And most of the folks in this place were from out of town because, like us, we're not from here. We don't have the TV package in our hotel room or in a condo we're renting. We have basic cable. These the landlord of this condo doesn't give me 1 million channels and all the sports I can watch. You gotta get that somewhere else. So go to this place. And the sports bar made some money yesterday, and thankfully, that's opened and run by an entrepreneur of some kind who made a couple of bucks. And I give him that, and I'm more than happy to see it, because the waiters and waitresses and bartenders and kitchen staff working their butts off to keep it all going, and that was fine. But This network sports coverage is just pathetic. It has just become so pathetic over our lifetimes, and we're saps to watch it. We just are. I'd really rather just record the game and go out for a walk or do some shopping or whatever, get the groceries done or whatever like chores I got to do, and then come back and then watch the game fast forward through all the stoppages and all the stupid messages. And oh gosh, I'd rather do that a million times over. That's just me. Anyway, there you go. There you go. I have a hard time understanding why our professional athletes get paid more than our teachers and police officers. Well, again, we make heroes of them. we start worshiping them. We give our children jerseys of these sports heroes that we like, and they start following and emulating us, and they just follow in our footsteps, and that's just the way it's been. I ought to know. I had a sports store selling jerseys and caps, and Dad would bring the kids in, and Mom and Dad, for Christmas would buy the kids stuff, and they'd be wearing it, and there it is. And have you tried to buy an NFL football jersey in the last few years? Have you noticed how expensive they are now? These used to be $59.99, $69.99. You can't buy the real deal football jerseys now for less than $100 and something bucks. I think hockey jerseys are over 200 with a name and number on them, 200 plus. Unbelievable. They're made in Bangladesh as far as the NHL is concerned. The NHL jerseys are manufactured in Bangladesh. The lettering and cresting is done domestically, but the letters and crests are made in Bangladesh, shipped over in bulk, and then applied to the jerseys depending on what name of player you want on your jersey. That's how that game works. Anyway. Oh, yes. Crazy. Did you notice back in the 80s when sports stars, NBA, NFL, started making millions, the CEOs started making big money too? Coincidence? I think not. Yes. There you go. Here you go. Athletes get paid more because they bring in money to their company. Cops and teachers do not. This is capitalism. Like it at the most basic. There you go. We worship heroes. We don't worship cops. We don't worship firefighters, but they risk their lives to protect us from time to time. But we don't worship them enough. We worship our service members from all the armed forces and so on, and we have the Remembrance Day and all that. But a lot of these folks live in absolute poverty and, just barely get by because we worship them one day a year, but that's enough. I mean, come on, I got to get back to work. Yeah, and a lot of us look at Remembrance Day as a day off of work to just hang out and go golfing and, be with friends. Isn't that the way it is? Yeah, universities and university students, oh my gosh, these programs and these multi-billion-dollar television rights deals for the NCAA, the Final Four, the Sweet 16, all this. Oh, I can't keep up with it all. Being a Canadian, wow. We don't have this in Canada, by the way. We do have what's known as the Vanier Cup. That's the football championship. They just had that last weekend. Do you know who won it? I don't. It's an Eastern-based university against a Western-based university for the one game, the title. And you know what it means? Nothing. You know what it means to your career when you go out applying for a job someday? You put that on your resume. I'm part of the Vanier Cup winning football. Nothing. It means nada. Does your university make millions of dollars because no? It costs your school money to go to this game. The TV networks pay $5,000 for the rights to televise it, and nobody watches it. That's the difference between Canada and the USA. On college sports. But that's just an old man ranting as well. It's unbelievable. Where are we at now? 1571 on Sofi. Still up 51 cents on the day. We're down to 7 minutes before we close it up. Rocket Lab is at 12.27, down 73 cents. Not going to recover. Sofi is holding its own. GameStop down 580 again to 166.59. Matterport down 219 to 23.32. ME 788.789, up 23 cents. Spire down 16.5 cents to 422. Just not going to have an up day on Spire, although we looked like we were. ATIP down a dime at 322. Smart Rent up 35 cents, 10.18. Cyxtera down 1 penny today. Robinhood up 27 cents. AMC down 40. Vanik down 28. Home Depot up $8. IBM up $1.30. The Dow up 6.83. 5. A 685-point day does not move a bunch of SPAC stocks today. It just doesn't do it. It's just a recovery of the stocks who got the bejesus kicked out of them last week on the Dow and on S&P and Nasdaq. That's all it is. Microsoft up 4.25, Apple up 3.69, to name a few. Tesla down $5, Royal Caribbean up 5.43, Goldman up 7.29 to 3.90. Amazon up 38.60, Facebook up 11.60, Google up $27 a share. Cisco up 83 to $57. Twitter's up 240. American Airlines up $1.30 to $17.94. Netflix up $10. DraftKings at $30.84, up 244. Yeah, not a lot to get excited about here. Yet the Dow is up 700 points right now. 700 points with 5 minutes to go. Can you feel the wealth jingling in your jeans? Can you feel all the money jingling in your pants? I don't know if you can. Then again, those of you who have employee plans at work and you're into all kinds of ETFs and mutual funds through your employer and stuff, maybe you're higher today to recover some of the losses you've been taking the last couple of weeks, because that's what we've been watching. The Dow's up 2%. S&P's up 1.3. NASDAQ is up 1.04%. Oil is up 5.19%. $3.44 a barrel to $69.70. We're going to get on Friday the latest inflation numbers, the latest inflation report for the United States. That will dominate the pre-morning chats of all kinds of market watchers out there and after market chats. And of course, the speculation will run rampant. Well, if inflation does this, what happens to interest rates? And if inflation does that, what happens to the jobless? And if inflation does this, they got something to talk about. That's all it is. What does it matter to you and me? Absolutely nothing. Do you care? I mean, really, deep down inside your soul, do you care if a loaf of bread goes up a dime this month? Do you give a crap? I don't. Is it going to stop you from buying a loaf of bread? I mean, really? Take back an extra can of pop at the depot and get the dime. You're fine. But this is the end of the world as we know it. I get so upset and frustrated by these so-called pundits and experts. Oh, 4% inflation is going to be the death of the economy. Oh, I don't think so. We got to eat. We got to make phone calls. We got to buy gas, and we got to go to work. Okay, we're going to keep doing what we have to keep doing, and we'll figure out a way to get by. All right, we're a lot tougher than you think we are, but boy, listening to the so-called experts, like the end of the world is coming if we have 4% inflation. I mean, whoop-de freaking do. Show up, live the life I led, and I had it easy. Live the life I led in 77, 76, 75 when we had 15% inflation. That was nothing compared to what my dad went through. And then he told me what his dad went through was worse than him. And so I'm thinking the end of the First World War was a pretty tough time in Europe. Second World War was a tough time in various parts of the world. My life in the 70s and 80s, are you kidding me? I had it tough, really? I was luckily enough too young to be draftable if I were an American. To be in the Vietnam War. I was too young. The war ended by the time I was old enough to be drafted. I wasn't an American anyway, so there you go. I didn't have to fight a war. And I had to deal with inflation and high interest rates. That's what I had to do. And that's because my parents' generation spent all this money in advance and borrowed it, and we had to pay it. But here we are now, trillions in debt later, and we're still here running along, now watching the Chinese have their little nightmare, which I find hilarious, because they were thinking, oh, those Westerners, they went into debt like you couldn't believe, and they couldn't handle it. And they're getting their comeuppance because we communists, we know how to run a good system over here. The only way is the communist way. I don't think we're trying to find that right now, are we? We're not noticing that. BW, Uncle Bruce, CCP rant, very much appreciated, and I agree. So that Matterport, $40 covered call, January 23rd, is still trying to buy back cheap. I got paid $11.50 originally. Am I too stinky trying to buy it back at $4.70? You can just sit there, and if you want, it's out of the money like a million miles. But if you do buy your contract back maybe tomorrow, you can write a new one if the stock pops up a little bit. You can write a new 35 or something a little closer in perhaps. But hey, I love seeing this right here. This is the kind of comment I love to see because some of you say to me, "Oh, Bruce, if I have to do a rollover and I have to write a contract that's way out there, I'm going to have to hold forever." And here we go, 11, whatever it is, 1150 coming in, and it's 470 on the way out if you want it, and it's on the table anytime you want to take this profit. I love this trade. Well done, no matter how you do it. I love it. We're closing up right now. The bells have got to be going. Larry, thanks, buddy. There it is. DQ, thank you, my friend. The bells are ringing between Larry and DQ right now, and we're done for another day, and I appreciate it. Mirko is saying, hi, Uncle Bruce. I had written 5 Sofi puts. December 17th, strike $25. I just rolled 2 into July, 22 July 2022, for $25 strike with a 189 profit, and 3 into July 22, same date, same strike price. I see, same strike. Paid 8 cents. Any thoughts on these trades? Nicely done. Nicely done. Yeah, beautiful. And the shares want to run a little bit from here, and they likely will. The $17, $18, $19 a share is easily going to happen. These puts will depreciate, and you'll buy them back for less whenever you're ready to, and you're going to make money. I love it. Nicely done. Beautiful job, especially for bringing in more cash. I like that. Very, very good. Okay. Kai Tam is saying, as a person who was born and grew up in Hong Kong, you are 100% right about the CCP. There you go, my friend. I love it. Thank you for that. And, it's unbelievable. So ridiculous. So corrupt. Anyway, it's crazy. Oh, what else going on here? Let's go. Regarding all this talk about sports being a scam, Formula One is enormously terrible, but I can't get enough of it. The only time I really watch NFL football is when Jen is really into it. I cannot watch NFL football games. I can't. I just can't. I watch the Super Bowl with reluctance. I actually I love it when Jen says, "I've taped the Super Bowl. The game starts at 4:30, whatever the hell it is, and we'll start watching at 6." And I just go, thank God, because in 90 minutes from 4:30 until the actual 6, like that, when we start watching it, we'll catch up to the third quarter in no time. Don't worry, we'll still be inundated with ads. The only thing I care about with Super Bowl are the ads, but you can watch them on the internet the day before, 2 days before. You know that. I know that. I mean, it's such a farce now. What are you going to do? It is what it is. Thanks, Bruce, for giving me more and more confidence to let it ride and see what happens, says BW. Now, if you can work on your magic for the tens of 100s of shares built up, inspired ATP will be golden. Right on. Daniel, I picked up some $30 Matterport calls for January on the dip today. Hoping we hit bottom today, and we'll regain much of what we lost over the past week, and maybe that'll happen, my friend. 23.36 last trade on the open market, and on the aftermarket, 23.61. You're up 25 cents. Here we go. Let's hope that's going to happen for you starting tomorrow morning. Okay, love it. Football is the greatest game ever created. You're an alien. The game is great. The game is great. The ads are the problem, and the stoppages, and the timeouts, and the 2-minute warning, and all this crap, and the actual timeouts that referees call, which is a joke. There shouldn't be any of that. That's the problem. The game is fine. The coverage is exceptional. The camera coverage is great. The production is fantastic. The actual 3-hour game is the problem. And baseball, oh my God, baseball, geez. The game shouldn't last more than 90 minutes. Hour and 45 minutes max should be a baseball game. Hockey games, the NHL really has tried to cut down the amount of time a hockey game takes. The stoppages are ridiculous. Every 7 minutes, they stop a hockey game in the period for a mandatory commercial. Utterly ridiculous. It is what it is. I remember on ABC Monday Night Football, this is like 30 years ago, maybe longer, showing you how old I am. I remember the first time I ever saw this, and I laughed, I laughed, I laughed. It was the opening of a game. I don't know who it was between, didn't matter. Kickoff is done, and the one team gets the ball, and they run a play, and then they go into a quick play. They go in for another play. They didn't call a huddle. Well, the Dandy Don and Howard Cosell and the boys and the production guys in the truck were apoplectic. They were going nuts because they were supposed to introduce the offense and the defense. You remember when they used to show you those little clips where they say, well, here's the offensive, the offense for the team, and you go, oh, Ohio State, Clemson, these guys. That's supposed to run 15 seconds during the huddle, right? They had all that queued up. They couldn't do it because the team came out with a hurry up offense right to start the game. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. I loved every second of it. The team ran 3 plays fast, then did a huddle and ran 3 more. And it caught the defense off guard because they were looking to do substitutions all the time. And the offense knew that. They knew that they were going to do a bunch of substitutions. So they ran these hurry up offense plays. Nobody could get off the field and anything. Oh, it was beautiful. It screwed up the first 5 minutes of the Monday Night Football telecast to no end. And the guy in the truck, who was the director, I'm sure, was scrambling to find a way to get these introductions done on all these lines. And Dandy Dunn and Frank Gifford and the guys, they're just winging it up there, covering what's happening because what's happening is happening. And we can't control it. I loved it when they did that. I just can't stand the overproduction and the over commercialization of a sports game. But I love the game. Oh yeah, I enjoy football. I really love watching NFL on that edited version on NFL. I think it's on. I'm not sure what network, but you can watch a game in like an hour. You get the whole game in an hour, but that still has commercials in it. So you got to record those so you can then avoid the commercials between the quarters and all that and just watch the thing in 35, 40 minutes. Like, what is a football game? 45 minutes? I don't even remember anymore. Or is it an hour? 4 15-minute quarters? Yeah, that's what it is. 4 15-minute quarters. Oh, my God. Too much fun. What can I tell you? This reminds me, I need to cancel my TV subscription. Oh, man. If there's no whistle, they don't stop hockey. That's what I love too. I love it when they have a flow going between two teams and they don't have a penalty call, they don't have an offside, they don't have an icing. They're just changing on the fly, and it's like 8 minutes of game time just went right by in 8 minutes. Beautiful. Oh, I love it when that happens. I do enjoy watching Olympic hockey because they don't have commercial breaks in there. The Olympics have kind of made it very tough for commercials during the periods. But that will eventually end because they're greedy buggers and they're going to take the money. It's only a matter of time. Thank you to someone here who just made a donation to me on PayPal. I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Brian Young for your donation on PayPal today. I appreciate that. For all the ranting and raving I'm doing, it's not good for donations. Thank you. All right. Bruce, the commercial breaks are important when you're in the arena and you need to run to the bathroom laughing out loud. There you go. I don't watch as much as I used to. I need to get rid of Goodell, says anti-PC. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's right. Jake, you know it, Michael. He says, Michael, first bristle after 14, 10, 6 minutes in the period, unless there's a good icing or power play, as there's always a commercial break. I agree there. Let's see. Nowadays, the networks can make them stop the contracts since they can even make them play a play again. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it is nuts. Have a good night, Bruce. Thank you, Bobby. Let's see here. Any other comments? Boo, says Gino. Here we go. I was at the Oilers game last night, and the first 2 periods were almost without stop. Isn't that great? I've heard that the actual action of football is about 11 minutes. The rest is just clock grinding. There's that too. It is that kind of a deal. That's the one beautiful thing about baseball. There is no timer. 3 outs. That's how it goes, man. Until the 3rd out is registered, this inning continues. And so the scramble is on. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I did some software for CBS as a Brit. I was shocked by that the game breaks were controlled by the TV networks. That's correct. That is correct. Yep. Anyway, yeah, here you go. Advertising ruins everything, including nice long interstate stretches that should be beautiful scenery. Bruce, tell us how you really feel. Football in the rest of the world has zero commercial breaks, and that's true on the actual game of football, soccer. Yeah, you bet. That's another. But I hate that game from a number of other angles. I would love to see changes on the fly. I would like to see. I'd like to see more than one referee making calls. I'd like to see replay overturns because of all the cheating that goes on, all the fake falling down and stuff. But that's just this guy. That's just me. Basketball. I'd like to see changes on the fly. No timeouts. You got tired guys, 3 off, 3 on, just clap their hand and off you go. You don't need the stoppage, and I got to write down a number, and I got to give me a break, just on the fly. Let's go, speed it up. But I don't know. Basketball. Ugh, I can't handle basketball. Blasphemy, Bruce. Blasphemy. Yeah. Why didn't Bruce get any donations today? Oh. Yeah, it is what it is, kids. What can I say? The markets are closed. We're done. The Dow was up 646. The S&P was up 53. Nasdaq up 139. And we're trying to survive. Rocket Lab down 72 cents to 12.28. SoFi at 15.72. The Rocket Lab right now in the aftermarket is up a dime to 12.38. SoFi in the aftermarket is down 4 cents to 15.68. GameStop 168.40, up $1.15 in the aftermarket. Matterport is up 14 cents to 23.50 in the aftermarket. ME up 4 cents in the aftermarket to 7.92. Spire, no change, no trades. ATIP down 4.5 cents in the aftermarket after losing 10 cents during the day today. Smart Rent 10.15 was the close. 10.17 is the aftermarket, up 2 pennies. Xterra, no changes in the aftermarket. And there you have it. That's our day today. Predictable. It looked like there was going to be a rebound to start the day, and there was. It held. Interesting. And we'll see how it wants to do tomorrow. Not a basketball fan either. Be right on anti-G, anti-PC. Yeah. Does anyone have a sunrise or a sunset? Does anybody want to talk about their favorite color? There you go. Folks, thank you for tolerating me today. I've been ranting and raving all day long here. Old man that I am. Another day in paradise has come and gone. We'll see what we can do tomorrow. Join me if you dare on the other channel, Traveling with Bruce, 7 o'clock for sponsor members, and 8 o'clock. Anybody is welcome at 8 o'clock on TWB tonight. This channel, there'll be a video coming up later tonight. I did a story today on Sofi, so that'll come up. But other than that, I'll be here tomorrow at 8:30 as I usually am, and we'll talk about the markets, and we'll see how the stocks are doing. We'll see what's going on overseas. We'll see how our friends are doing in China and everywhere else, and it'll be a good time. We'll hopefully stand around a campfire tomorrow night and sing Kumbaya together, and just be grateful that the communists and the capitalists are all getting along. Yippee-ki-yay. Thank you so much, Joanne. Take care, Scott. I like green. Good night, all. Thank you, Nancy. Sleep well. DQ, Joanne. Gray and rainy. Star Wars Bruce's favorite colors: blue, no yellow, arg, and all. Remember, thumbs. Better check twice before leaving. If you can hit me up with thumbs ups, I'd appreciate it. SoFi warrant redemption is now complete. Oh, good. Let's have the stock just go up, please. We've got 242 thumbs ups. Thank you very much for those. If you're able to hit that thumbs up button before you say goodnight, that would be absolutely wonderful. It would be much appreciated. 242 thumbs ups are sitting here on this channel right now. 244 now. Thank you. Everyone we get just adds to the momentum of the show through YouTube analytical computers. 246. Thanks. Okay, there it is. We're going to call it a day, and we're going to get ready for later tonight for some more shows, and then I'll be on with you tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do together. Hopefully, you'll make a bunch more money. How about that? Especially you option writers out there. We'll see how that happens. Thanks, Larry, for everything, buddy. Appreciate it. And tomorrow the moon, says anti-PC. Good evening, Ori. Take care from Michael. And thank you all for everything, guys. Thanks, Drew, Dr. Walter. You take care, Dr. Walter. And we'll catch you tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye.